Freestyle Travel. It's the name of the show. I'm Kenny Flannery, your host as always, and I've been freestyling it up this last month, doing all the things, everything from hitchhiking to a Flixbus to some flights to free casino rooms to impromptu people picking me up, giving me a place to stay, to visiting friends, to discovering this trustedhousesitters.com. Staying in a house to that, which is where I am right now. I'm in Ocean Beach, San Diego. Happy New Year's, everybody. It's January 2nd while I'm recording this. The Rose Bowl is on in the background, but last episode I was in North Carolina, so everything I just said, we got like a month. I'll tell you how it took me a month to get from there to here, pretty much. So, yeah, let's play that funky music and I'll start telling you about this little adventure. Alright, so if you listen to the last episode, I finally got on trustedhousesitters.com, which is a website I've been aware of for years, just never got on there. So finally did get on there. The way the website works is it's mostly people who want to like leave town and want someone to watch after their pets. Sometimes it's empty houses with no pets, but usually it's dog or dogs, cats, sometimes even like pigs and chickens and stuff, but usually it's like a dog or a cat. So I've been doing a bunch of writing lately. I'm writing a screenplay, which is a ways off from being done, but I'm writing it. So I'm like, all right, let me see if I can get on here and get a place to kind of be a hermit for a couple weeks. And I found a place in San Diego, sent them a message. I also sent a message to some other people in different parts of the country. But they got back to me first, and they're like, yeah, you can come watch our dog Avery, who's sitting next to me on the couch right now. Which is pretty cool, because I don't have any references on that website, obviously, and usually that's like sort of the trust factor is the references, but you got to start somewhere. So good on them for letting me, get my first sit in. So I'm like, all right, I got to be in San Diego. They wanted me to be here through Christmas and New Year's, just like 2-3 weeks basically, but I'm sitting in North Carolina, so I'm like, let me just check kiwi.com and just see if there's any like stupid cheap flights that can cheat me across the country. Sure enough, there was a $20-something flight from Fort Lauderdale to Vegas, and I'm like, all right, well, hitchhiking to Florida from North Carolina is a lot faster than across the country. So I went ahead and got that flight and just, knew that I had to make it in time. So after all Thanksgiving and seeing family, hit the road, started hitchhiking towards Florida. I had maybe 3-4 days to get to Fort Lauderdale, something like that, maybe 4 or 5. So my first kind of target was St. Petersburg. I got a friend there I haven't seen since she moved there. So I'm like, all right, that'll be my first target. So I started hitchhiking. Took 2 or 3 rides to get from kind of the coast out to I-95. Right away, this guy picked me up on I-95 and took me to, what's that place called? Cracker Barrel. And we had a feast. That was pretty awesome. And then it was like sunset, and it was pretty much like a half an hour away from me just tucking into the woods and calling it for the night. But a guy picked me up, and he was going all the way to Florida and like down deep into Florida. So I was like, hell yeah. Rode with that guy somewhere past Savannah. He got a hotel room, a couple beds, got some food there too. Chowed down, watched the game. It's a Patriots game on. He was from the Northeast, as he was coming from Vermont. This guy going down to Florida kind of seasonally. So rode with him the whole next day too, and actually camped a night with him in I think it was called Manatee State Park or something, north of Tampa. So that was pretty cool. Saw some manatees and stuff like that. Turtles. And then the next day he dropped me off sort of in town, easily hitched into St. Pete. My buddy, she's a bartender, so I went straight to the bar where she was at working. Speaking of which, let me take a sip of beer here. Drinking some Mike Hess Hazy IPA. So, yeah, had a big old drinking night with her. Stayed with her till the end of her shift. Guess we went back downtown, and she lives downtown. Partied it up, did the whole thing. And in the morning, got a couple other drinks and stuff. And then I'm like, all right, let me start moving down kind of close to Fort Myers. I had a friend close to Fort Myers, little town next to it. So that was my next destination. Kind of got a later start and didn't really think I was gonna make it, but yeah, just got lucky. Got one quick ride to the bridge basically, and then a ride from this couple that was going all the way to Fort Myers. So I made it, was able to catch up with my friend. That was awesome. Drank some beers with him, his beer camp buddy of mine. Then actually spent the next day there. Had some more beers, more catching up. No, this is Avery next to me making sounds. Yeah, so caught up with him, and then actually that was cool. He got me a Flixbus ticket. It's just more convenient, I guess, to get over to Fort Lauderdale, and it dropped off right at the airport. So can't get more convenient than that, I guess, actually. Saved me the hitchhiking and potentially missing the flight, anything like that. So I was able to get to the airport, onto that $20 whatever flight that flew directly to Vegas. And yeah, then I changed some stuff together there too. I saw there was a, what was it, $18 flight or something from Vegas to San Diego. So I was like, man, screw it. So I booked in that flight, but meanwhile, I had to change some nights together. So I think I spent just 1 or 2 nights in Vegas, and then hitchhiked down to Laughlin, a trip I've done a bunch of times last year. And that was pretty easy hitchhiking. It's only like an hour and a half drive, and I always take this $2 bus out to like Railroad Pass Casino. If any of y'all are trying to hitchhike from Vegas south, it's a good way to go. It gets you to clear. Spent 4 or 5 nights there in Laughlin, just getting some writing done mostly. Didn't gamble at all. Drank a little bit, but mostly just writing. Just using those free rooms while I still got them. Then went back up to Vegas, and I was staying at the Rio, and that was pretty wild. I actually messaged a buddy of mine that I know comes to Vegas every once in a while and plays poker. I just checked in, got to my room, I'm like overlooking the strip, and just like sent him a message just wondering what he was doing. And then I'm like, all right, let me go downstairs and, you know, mess around, play a little blackjack or something. Get a beer or 3, and I'm up on the, I don't know, 15th floor or something like that. 20th floor, I can't remember. Whatever floor I'm on, I walk to the elevator bank, and I kind of have my head down because I'm sending a message to somebody, and the door opens, and I notice there's someone there, and they're like not getting on, so I look up, and it's my fucking buddy, the dude I had just messaged. Just happened to not only be in Vegas at the same time, not only be staying on the same floor as me in the Rio, but also walked to the elevator just that moment. He hadn't even seen my message yet. It was just like total crazy coincidence. So ended up kicking it with him for most of the time that I was in Vegas. I had another like 2 or 3 nights there before the San Diego flight. So just absolute chaos and insanity. Yeah, it was just a ridiculous Vegas run altogether. Yeah. And he might actually start being a dealer there, which is kind of cool. Be there a lot more. The Rio is kind of a weird place. It's on like the other side of I-5, and it's just like, I don't know. It's a weird little casino. But kicked it there and got a little more writing done. And finally, yeah, hopped that little flight to San Diego. I think it was $18 or something. It was either Spirit or Frontier. Those are kind of the cheap airlines now here in the States. So, and talk about a short flight. I mean, usually I would almost 100% hitchhike that, but just screw it. I had the little cash and just went for it. But they never even took the seatbelt sign off on that flight. It was like an hour or less. It was like 40 minutes. I don't know what it was. It was a short ass flight. It's just up and down. So at San Diego, this guy picks me up. So it's a couple that I'm house sitting here for, and the girl had already gone to Georgia, but he was still here, so that was pretty cool. He came and picked me up. So I guess the way this trusted house sitter site works is potentially different every time. So sometimes, I guess most of the time, you get to a house and the people are already gone. Like they've left like earlier that day. I guess that's standard. But sometimes you get to meet the people. I'm glad I got to meet at least him. That was cool. Because he like took me back to the house, just showed me, it's not like it's a big house or anything, but just showed me where stuff was, where the coffee was, where the dog bowl was. Got to meet Avery. Hey, Avery, this dog is awesome. She's literally named after Avery Brewery. I mean, that's pretty, I'm going to take a sip of beer with that thought. Anyone who's watched my hopping show, Hitchhiking to Breweries, you probably saw that I went to Avery Brewery and met Adam Avery. So obviously I was pretty stoked to learn that's who Avery was named after. But yeah, got here and he showed me, washer dryer, blah, blah, blah. Here's the dog food. Scoop in the morning, scoop at night, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, then hopped in the car and he actually showed me around the neighborhood, around Ocean Beach. Been here before, but that was cool. And then we actually went out to Stone, had a couple beers, went back to his place, watched a little bit of the game, had a beer and stuff. And then finally he hopped in his Uber to get to the airport because he was flying, across the country for Christmas and New Year's. So I'm glad that went down the way it did. I'm definitely going to keep using this site. This is cool. I leave here tomorrow. But yeah, so I've been here basically just doing a bunch of writing. I think the first day I was here, actually, I went and the second day I was here, something like that. I got a buddy who lives in town. So I went and caught up with him, some friends from New York, and we all went to the safari park and caught up. Did all that, so that was fun. But other than that, I've basically just been hanging out with the dog and getting my writing done and stuff. Scratching yourself right now. I guess I had one crazy night. Went and met a girl at a brewery nearby, and then ended up meeting a bunch of other people playing shuffleboard and freaking. Yeah, I guess that was a pretty wild, stupid night. Out till like 5, 6 in the morning, something like that. By the time I think we wound up downtown in different apartments and all kinds of shit. But the exception of that in the safari park, it's been a lot of just chilling, getting writing done, working on this thing. So that's what I've been doing. Let me play that outro music and then I'll tell you what's next, what's coming on here in a minute, because it's always pretty random. Alright, let's see what it is. Alright, so what's next? That's the question I've asked myself a couple times today. This is my last night here watching the place. They're getting back tomorrow, so I'll be gone before they get here. And yeah, I got my sister in LA I'd like to see, some other friends in LA I haven't seen in a while. So I was thinking of doing that. I want to keep my momentum going with the writing. So I'm actually thinking of going to, what's it called? Casino tomorrow. Go fucking figure. There's a Harrah's, I don't think it's in San Diego. It's like part of the way to LA. So I'm thinking of heading up there tomorrow. And I think I can get like 4 nights for free, so maybe I'll go do that before going to LA. Try to keep the writing going and then just sort of see. I don't know, there's a bunch of options up in the air, as there always are. So try not to get too ahead of myself. Maybe I'll try to find another one of these house sitting gigs. There's various friends I wouldn't mind going to see. Yeah. I don't know, it's chaos. We'll figure it out. But yeah, it'll feel good to throw the backpack on tomorrow and just make my way north one way or another. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, trustedhousesitters.com. If that sounds cool to you, I'll put a little referral code in the notes there. So if you do want to get on there, it'll be cheap for you. So that's it, you guys. That's the big catch up at the moment. Didn't do video for this episode just because I figure it's just, I don't know, if it's just me, there's really no point in doing video. But maybe the next one we'll get some. All right, happy days, happy travels, and I will see you down the road.
with all my shit straight. I'll get my big brain.